Hello and welcome to Rambling Runner Reviews. I am so excited today to give my first impression review of the HOKA Mach 4. This baby has been widely talked about, and for good reason, by a lot of people who talk about shoes. It's just been one of those shoes that's been everywhere. It's been the eponymous shoe for shoe reviewers everywhere when they're talking about daily trainers, some fartlek shoes, for speed sessions, even for some race day shoes, that if people don't want the carbon plate in there or they just don't want a shoe that's only for racing, this shoe has gotten a lot of hype in a lot of different ways. So I was excited to give it a try, get my hands on it and my feet in it. So let's talk about it, all right? From a fit perspective, that is the one thing that has been universally beloved about this shoe, is the lockdown fit as soon as you step in. And let me tell you, it's the real deal. And I say that as somebody who has had trouble with a number of HOKA shoes in the past. So my foot type is pretty standard in the midfoot and then pretty narrow in the toes. So basically my toes like come together like a spear. And it's I've had HOKA shoes where the medial side, so this side, has had some pinching on the arch, especially with the Rincon 1 and 2. It was such a pain in the butt, and then I couldn't buy other HOKA shoes for the same reason. Same thing with the HOKA Torrent 1, so if you're looking at off-road shoes. But it's this shoe did not have that problem, and I was so excited for that. There is a knit upper that just hugs the foot. It really is so nice. As soon as you step in, you see the elf fin, the little elf ear on the end. Most people have had a great feeling with the heel lockdown. I would say the heel lockdown for me was slightly below average, kind of like the Atreyu base model, in that once you get running, you don't really notice it. But just walking around in the store, I did notice my foot was slipping a little bit, and it didn't change even when I was kind of altering how I was lacing up the shoe. But again, once I started running, I didn't notice it, so it wasn't a big deal, but you may notice it at first glance. It just didn't quite fit right. I don't think it's because of the elf fin, but who knows why. Just wasn't quite there. But for the fit, it fits really well. So I'm at 10.5, and this fit 10.5, size perfectly. From the specs perspective, just over 8 ounces in a men's size 9, just under 7 ounces in a women's size 8, so it's 8.2 and 6.8 respectively. Like all HOKA shoes, it's a 5mm drop. Men, it's 29 to 24, and women is 27 to 22. As a midfoot striker, I love the 5mm heel drop. It's just perfect for the way I land. But yeah, so that really does fit for me well. That's one of the reasons I love HOKA. Not only because all HOKA shoes are light, except for a couple of their trail shoes, and even the Bondi, for all its max stack height, is fairly light compared to the cushioning you're going to get. But the 5mm drop on all shoes, I'm such a big fan of that as well. So let's get into the ride, because this baby, I took it out, first run, 12 miles. I never do that. I never just go 12 miles with a shoe right out the box. I didn't even usually what I'll do is, when I get a shoe, I'll walk my dog in the shoe, I'll walk around in the house, because again, the shoe hasn't been dirty yet. So I'll walk around the house with the shoe, and then maybe I'll walk my dog in the shoe, and then that kind of is the break-in period, then I'll take it for an easy run. I just went right, straight, long run with this shoe, and I even had some moderate miles. So I had some stuff with gear in the middle miles of my 12-mile run, but when I wasn't messing around with my gear, I was basically hovering around 9-minute to 9:15 pace, which this shoe had no problem with. And actually, at first, I was going to wonder if Easy Pace, if this had enough cushioning, right? Because you had the dual foam midsole. Okay, so you have the rubberized foam on the bottom, you have the Pro-Fi squishy foam on top. I don't run a lot of shoes that have a dual foam, so you'll see no rubber on the outside. Kind of, again, the rubberized EVA that allows for a little bit more durability, but it definitely had enough cushioning for a long run, especially because I didn't have to break it in. And a lot of people say you have to break in this shoe, and I believe it, because even now, after running 12 miles in it, it's stiff, right? So this is more flexibility than it had before my run, but it's a stiff shoe, not unlike the Rincons. However, I think this will break in a little easier. The Rincon, even the Rincon 3, I almost bought the Rincon 3 instead of this. It was between those two, and ultimately I bought this one because the Rincon 3 just didn't feel great. Actually, I should say, bought this with my own money at Roadrunner here in Providence, Rhode Island. That's Road, like Rhode Island. R-H-O-D-E, not Roadrunner like the chain that you see everywhere. I'm sure they do great work, but at Roadrunner here in Rhode Island, they're great over there. And the continuity of this shoe, it just felt so nice underfoot, and I just forgot about it. I mean, I was aware that I was wearing it because I was like, all right, I want to do an initial run review of this shoe and pay attention to how it's fitting, but it just felt so good. And I haven't run 12 miles in a long time, been battling injury, and I handled it just fine. This shoe handled it just fine. My legs were totally fine the next day. Ran 85 minutes the next day after that run, and I did the 12 miles on pavement. So this was, again, because you have the rubberized foam, not great traction. I did run in the rain, but it was a straight line on a bike path, so didn't have to make any turns. So the traction was fine. If you're someone who does a lot of running on dirt roads, and so obviously this isn't a trail shoe, but when you hit the dirt roads, you can wear kind of like anything out there. I'm curious. I'm definitely going to run on dirt roads in this shoe, maybe even tomorrow. So when I do the full review, I'll report back on how it performed there and how the traction was out there. But ultimately, this thing, it felt great. It felt great. So from a uses perspective, where do I think I'm going to use this? Now, I'll try it in everything. I think if you like a firmer daily trainer, not max cushioning, definitely don't want to use this for a recovery day. I can imagine it being an easy day shoe, daily trainer type shoe for somebody who, if you can wear it on like a dirt road, right? So it has a little cushioning in the road, that would be a good fit. Again, if the outsole handles it well. If you're somebody who just doesn't need a ton of stack, even though, yeah, if you don't need a ton of stack, this could be a really good daily trainer. It definitely feels good picking up the pace. And I wonder how it could fare at top end speed. So I'll find out tomorrow. I'm definitely going to wear this in my interval session tomorrow. So I'm going to do, maybe 8 or 9 miles in total with about 3.5 miles at speed. So we'll see how it works out for that. I'm expecting big things. I think this is going to be a really, really nice shoe. $130. If you can get a $130 shoe that can do a variety of different things. So I bought this for $125. And again, I did a little $25 discount over at Roadrunner because I'm a frequent buyer. I had a little coupon, which was nice. $125, you can get multiple uses. That's great. If it's not just pigeonholed into one thing. But when it comes to value, the other part is durability. So the upper feels like it's just going to last. I love that. The foam with the rubberized midsole on the bottom, from a cushioning perspective, that's not going to wear out. That thing is just tough. Great. That's fantastic. Obviously, it's all going to come down to the outsole and where you run. If you're always running on pavement, then the outsole is not going to be that big of a deal, right? The traction's not going to be that big of a deal. But if you are running on other things, then it could be a problem. But ultimately, this baby is the real deal. I'll say it again. I am so excited to put some more miles on this thing. And sometimes when you make that purchase where you just know right away that it's a good fit, that's exactly how I feel with this. So, with that being said, thank you so much for watching this first impression review of the HOKA Mach 4. If you haven't done so already, go check out the reviews that we did the past 2 weeks. The Puma Velocity Nitro, a top daily trainer that I just absolutely love, and the Nike Zoom X Invincible, which I was not as big of a fan of for me, but it might be a big, great shoe for you, especially if you are a heel striker or someone who's okay with heel striking. I think a lot of people could love that shoe or not like that shoe. I think the Puma Velocity Nitro, I always mix those up. I can't imagine people not liking that shoe. The Nike Zoom X Invincible, I think, is going to be polarizing, or is polarizing, and I saw that in the comments over on Instagram when I posted that as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like if you like the show. I really appreciate it. Also, make sure you check out the podcast. Today's episode was with Dylan Bowman, the man, the myth, the legend, over on the Rambling Runner podcast. Thank you so much, and happy running.